Starting a new game system can often be a real minefield. What books do I need to buy? Which parts of the rules have already been updated? Which of the tools will I need to use to play the game? This video is designed to help you navigate these questions and hopefully save you lots of time on your research. So Overlord, please get on with it already. What do I really need to start playing Flames of War in 2025? Firstly, you're going to need an army for Flames of War. When you use this army, you will agree a point size with your opponent. That could be either 50, 100, 150, or that's usually the case. These can either be Battlefront miniature models or other companies such as Plastic Soldier Company, to name just one example. You might even be into 3D printing your own models. I would advise whatever models you do, make sure the size is correct. That's 15mm/1/100 scale. If you intend to go to tournaments, I'd also check around and just see whether they all allow the different models or not, because on that point I'm not sure. To play Flames of War, you'll first need access to the main rules. These can be found in the main rulebook. You do not need to buy a Flames of War rulebook if you're going to be starting with a starter set, as these contain a mini A5 rulebook. Battlefront also sell an A4 hardback version if you're looking to upgrade to a more sturdier copy, although this is absolutely not necessary, and the small A5 ones do go a long way. One of the strengths of Flames of War as a system is that all of the starter boxes come with an A5 mini rulebook, so you get to know the rules. This includes the 2-player starter set, which contain one as well. What you'll find is that as you build army after army, you'll build up rulebooks, and when you come to introduce new people, you can give them or let them borrow the rulebook so they get to know the game better. In my opinion, this is one of the strengths of Flames of War, as the rules are provided really easily and really cheaply. The next thing we need to discuss is army books for your nation's army and combat and unit cards, which are often discussed amongst the community. In 2024, for a long time they weren't reprinted. However, they are now reprinted, but get hold of them while you can, because my understanding is they might not be reprinted again. Flames of War is split up into 3 major periods. Today we'll be using Late War as an example, as I spend most of my time playing Late War. In Late War, there are 4 different campaigns. These are D-Day, Bagration, Berlin, and Bulge. Each of these campaigns features a different flavour of the respective armies that fought there. It's important to remember that all the books are balanced to face each other as long as they're Late War books. Therefore, it's easy to play a Soviet Berlin list into a German D-Day list if you choose to. However, mid-war and late war books don't go well together. So just remember, late war books can fight other late war books, no problem. Battlefront recently combined the 4 D-Day books into a single Compendium book, which is useful if you intend to play more than one faction. There's also no need to buy the D-Day German book and the D-Day Compendium book, as a Compendium already includes all the formations of D-Day German and the additional formations they added in for the reprint. Unit cards and command cards are not necessary if you don't want to use them. The command cards add flavour and a few different abilities to your army, such as a lucky reroll, or include historical units such as the D-Day British formation, the Black Devils. Unit cards are actually an accessory I was initially really against. However, once I tried them out, I actually couldn't deny how convenient they were. All the information in one place, and I don't need to flip through my book. So I actually strongly recommend getting unit cards for the campaign you want to play your army from. Yep, I was wrong. Unit cards are good. So what gaming aids or tools do I need to play Flames of War? Well, the first 2 are universal for most war games. A simple tape measure and some 6-sided dice. Let me repeat that. Tape measure and dice. Can be as cheap as you like. Multiple companies such as Battlefront Miniatures and Dice of War create dice for Flames of War with insignia on the 6, which look really cool, but they are optional, but I do recommend them. The next big one to consider are markers and tokens. You could use any coloured markers, paper or dice to mark conditions such as bailed out tanks. However, Battlefront does produce some very nice token sets which are army and faction specific, if you wanted to make your game look a bit nicer. You can also use cotton wool for burnt out vehicles, or many companies create destroyed vehicle markers. Battlefront create markers to show destroyed vehicles, smoke screens, and even a tool known as the rangefinder, which has small useful measurements on. Another tool I highly recommend is the Army Painter laser line. This is a great tool for getting an accurate line of sight check. But just remember, all these tools really are optional apart from the dice and tape measure, and aren't a necessity to enjoy Flames of War. The final big one is the artillery template. You're going to need one of those, and there are two types. The salvo, which has the small template inside it as well, and the artillery template. So make sure you pick one of those up as you go along. Updates, updates, updates. Despised by some, loved by others. Flames of War gives a yearly update called Lessons from the Front. This document is downloadable and is linked in the description below. The last update was March 2024. What is this document though? It includes the frequently asked questions and the errata to correct the books where they're wrong. I'd advise printing a copy and keeping it at the table so you can refer to it while gaming. Also beware that on Flames of War's Facebook page, Phil Yates will sometimes answer questions as well. So this can be a source of clarity, and also sometimes it ends up being a bit confusing. But still, Lessons from the Front is definitely a document you need to have just so you can keep up to date. Battlefront have released their own list builder called Forces of War. On this site you can purchase formations and units, but they do cost money to buy and even more to be made printable. The new D-Day Forces Compendium did come with the code for the Forces of War, so that's a step in the right direction in my opinion. There are other list builders such as Battlescribe. I personally like to create lists on paper, but that's just me, and I do totally get that having an online builder is actually a better way of doing it. I'm just a little bit old-minded in that fashion and don't use them. I hope this video has helped you to understand the different tools you might need and what you really need, the bare bones, to just get playing Flames of War. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see some more, we will be posting one video a month at the very least. Also, you can support Overlord Games by buying from our shop, overlordgames.co.uk. If you're in the UK, you could also look out for UK events. These are at overlordgames.co.uk/events. Thank you for listening, everyone. Goodbye for now.